Hey guys, this is Charlie, and today we are reading Chapter 4 of Magic Treehouse, number 12, Civil War on Sunday, by Mary Pope Osborne, I think. Chapter 4, Freedom Fighters. Jack carried the water bucket into the tent. The scene was like a nightmare. The tent was hot and stuffy. A dozen injured soldiers lay on small cots. Some called for food, others begged for water or just moaned. Jack wanted to rush back outside, but Annie got right to work. She rolled up her sleeves and smiled. "Hi, everybody," she said cheerfully. None of the soldiers smiled back. "I have good news," she said. "We've brought lunch." Annie moved down the row of cots. She handed out pieces of bread and chunks of potatoes to all the patients. "You'll be feeling better soon," she said to one sick man. "You'll see your family again," she told another. Jack looked around nervously. He wasn't sure what to do. "Give them water, Jack," Annie called to him. Jack saw a tin cup beside each man's cot. He picked up the first cup. Carefully, he used a ladle to fill it with water. Keeping his eyes down, Jack handed the cup to the patient. He felt shy and uncomfortable. Jack didn't know what to say. Jack moved on to the next patient and the next. He gave each wounded man a cup of water. But he never looked right at any of them or spoke a word. Soon Jack and Annie had finished passing out food and water. "Goodbye," Annie said. She waved and left the tent. Jack quickly followed her. "Let's go home now," he begged once they were outside. "We got what we came for. If we leave now, the patients in the next tent will go hungry and thirsty," said Annie. Jack sighed. "Okay," he said. "But we take care of them. We're leaving for sure." He followed Annie into the next tent. Just like the last tent, it was filled with wounded soldiers. But the soldiers in this tent were all African Americans. "Hi, everybody," Annie said, smiling warmly. Again, she passed out potatoes and bread. She also talked and made jokes. Jack poured water into each of the tin cups. Again, he didn't speak to any of the soldiers. But as he handed over the last cup, a patient spoke to him. "Thank you for your kindness, son," the soldier said. Jack glanced shyly at the man on the cot. He was an elderly, silver-haired black man. "You're welcome," said Jack. He tried to think of something else to say. He remembered Annie's cheerful words. "You'll get well soon," he told the patient. "You'll be back with your family again." The man shook his head. "No, I will never be back with my family again," he said very quietly. "My wife and children were sold long ago." "Sold?" said Jack. "Yes, we were slaves," the man said. "You were a slave?" asked Jack. "All of us in this tent were once slaves," the man said. "We ran away from our owners in the South to fight and end slavery, to fight for our freedom for our people. I ran barefoot for over 30 miles to tell the Union soldiers that the Confederates were going to attack." The man fell silent. "You're a very brave freedom fighter," said Jack. "Thank you, son." The man closed his eyes. Jack wanted to know more about slavery, but he didn't want to bother the weary patient. He pulled out the Civil War book. He found a picture of African Americans standing on a platform. The men, women, and children had chains on their hands and feet. Jack read, "In the 1800s, the United States was divided over the issue of slavery. The North wanted the country to end all slavery, but the South wanted to keep slaves because more than 4 million African American slaves worked in huge plantation fields there. This disagreement over the North and South led to the Civil War." Jack looked down at the man's face. He looked very weary. Jack pulled out the nurse's list of his knapsack. "Lessen sorrow and give hope," he read. Jack put the list away. He leaned close to the man and spoke in a soft voice. "One day your great-great-grandchildren will be doctors and lawyers," he said. The man opened his eyes. Jack went on. "They'll help run the government and schools. They'll be senators and generals and teachers and principals." The man stared hard into Jack's eyes. "Can you see the future, son?" he asked. Jack nodded. "In a way," he said. The man smiled a beautiful smile. "Thank you, son," he said. Then he closed his eyes again. "Good luck," whispered Jack. He hoped the brave man would live to enjoy freedom. "Ready to go home, Jack?" asked Annie when she finished passing out the food. Jack nodded. As he and Annie stepped out of the tent, they heard someone shout, "She's back!" A horse-drawn wagon was barreling into the camp. "Who's back?" asked Annie. "Clara Barton," a patient said. "She runs the hospital." "Clara Barton?" said Annie. "I don't believe it." "Who's Clara Barton?" asked Jack. He'd heard the name before, but he couldn't remember who she was. "Who's Clara Barton?" said Annie. "Are you nuts?" She ran to meet the wagon. Okay guys, that's it. Chapter 5 is called Angel of the Battlefield. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, and click the bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video.